thank you, IBEX, for having me in this interesting event. The topic and as I was hearing previous speakers, and I'm sure as the audience would be hearing and watching the other speakers, they would tend to dwell on the theme of digital transformation. So I thought of let me do something slightly different, is to give you a different perspective and talk about the consumer. So as a person who has spent a large part on devoted on financial inclusion and voted, reminded of the words of John Kennedy, that who stated that consumers by definitions include us all. They are the largest economic group of the economy, affected by every public and private economic decision. Now, these are very profound words. And if we see here in our own context, while 2/3 of all the spending in the economy is by consumers, but the consumers are the only important group in the economy who are neither effectively organized nor whose views are often heard. Presently, all consumer awareness, protection, and including the product initiatives are indeed supply-side driven. Moreover, other hand, India has to deliver on the G20 high-level principles for digital financial inclusion. The key ones are to promote digital approach to financial inclusion, expand the digital infrastructure ecosystem, financial practices to protect customers, and to financial literacy, and last but not the least, track digital financial inclusion programs. Hence, there is an immediate need for capacity building on the demand side. Now, Mr. Ramchandran was telling about the 51 lakh and other IC and DigiLockers and digital. These are in fact very good developments. If I was to put my how to make comfortable with the transaction infrastructure, but yet not get the knowledge financial literacy barrier to access. The status of financial inclusion in the country. As of 13th of February, the total PMJDY accounts are approximately 41.8 crores, in which about 1,38,000 crores are as deposit. About 29.6 crores debit cards have been issued. Coming to insurance, the Swasth Bima Yojana has just 22.27 crore beneficiaries, and under the Jeevan Bima Yojana, the insureds are there. Talk worth investments or to about the Atal Pension Yojana. So these clearly are opportunities for the fintech and other players. We have a very good payment infrastructure, IMPS, UPI, APS, etc. And to frontline, as we speak, there are about 8.5 lakh business correspondents across the length and breadth of. 8.5 lakhs, about 1.26 lakh business correspondents are focused exclusively on the suite of Pradhan Mantri Jan Dhan Yojana products. The Reserve Bank of India last year formalized the national strategy for financial inclusion for 2025. Just highlight the three key points which on the demand side, and the various other interventions which are required by the various players. On the demand side of financial literacy and education, there is a digital hesitancy, especially in women, for adoption. Like I just now told you about the Swasth Bima Yojana, as well as the Jeevan Bima Yojana. Unfortunately, the numbers are very, very small. Nobody is aware. Nobody is aware, and the business correspondent, who typically is servicing anything between 500 to 700 customers, is hesitant to tell because of lack of information. Great push by the skill development ministry of the government of India to enhance, and so there is an opportunity again to access to livelihood and skill development. Additional need, quite frankly, in addition to the 51 lakh costs which are currently there, to add about 50 lakh more digital merchants and 10 lakh more additional business correspondent under the skill development scheme of the government of India. There was a talk earlier by the earlier speaker about the fraud and other things which are there. In fact, I will just as late as yesterday, I'd like to share the scale of the fraud is so much that in Africa, in Cameroon, the scamsters have set up a full website of the Indian embassy, replicated the entire website, and they were demanding $750 to $350 for various services. So such is the scale. Protection, and equally, if not more importantly, the grievance protection and redressal of the customer. We all know if transactions fail, imagine a person in a village, he or she is to receive some money or transmit some money and or do some other transaction, and the transaction fails. Now, whom and how does it get resolved? While banks and the respective institutions do have, but they are far away. There is no robust infrastructure which is currently existing. Reserve Bank of India has implemented a consumer protection online system, but of course, the results are yet. Opportunity of use of innovation and technology in the above. Moving to a few things on the supply side, there is an acute need to improve the channel quality and the capacity. Now, the channel quality means that focus on the training, quality, and capacity of the business correspondents, so that they can provide efficient access, convenience, and reduce the delivery barriers, and in addition provide the required financial literacy to the consumers so that they can understand the products and access the services. There's a opportunity there is that the Skill Development Ministry gives 12 months apprenticeship support to these to the persons. So there is an opportunity for about 10 lakh persons to get themselves as an apprentice, and then later join the business correspondents as in a formal system by getting themselves trained and certified under the IIBF or the BFSI Sector Skill Council certification. There is, while the above is there, there is also a need to strengthen and protect the security of the business correspondent, because the fact is that while digital is definitely on the rise, but currency has not gone anywhere. So not only the BCs are repositories of the consumers' the money which they come and deposit. So they need to be protected, and social insurance schemes need to be put into place by the banks. Quite frankly, Reserve Bank of India has given a guideline. Unfortunately, the banks do not provide this cover. So, an opportunity on innovation and again technology for the same. While the above is there, on the regulatory side also there is there's a requirement for recalibration. As we speak, presently only one business correspondent is allowed per bank. Now, considering there are 100, 100 banks, it is impossible to imagine that village. There are, there are 645,000 or 46,000 villages. It is unimaginable that in each of these villages there will be 100 business corresponding BCs providing services of the different of each of the banks. So there is a, just as Reserve Bank of India has allowed white label ATMs, there is also a need to allow white label business correspondent, and just by relaxing one bank, one BC condition by Reserve Bank of India. Another thing is that all the other regulators, whether it's pensions or it is the insurance, they tend to load on everything on the business correspondent and being piped through the bank. While initially it would have made sense, however, it is just too much of a burden on the single regulator like Reserve Bank of India and indeed the bank to handle all the rest of the financial services products, because they all lose focus. So then there is also under the Aadhaar enabled payment system. I am for so many years, ever since AEPS has been implemented, I am left wondering why deposits through AEPS is not allowed, and why the pricing on the AEPS has not been deregulated. In fact, the earning capacity of the customer, and ultimately which of the business correspondent, which ultimately affects the service capability of to the customers. So hence there is a need by UIDAI, NPCI, Reserve Bank of India, and indeed the Department of Financial Services to do something about it. There were talk about credit. While under the COVID intervention, lot of credit has indeed been given out. However, push on MSME credit, who have not taken credit before, needs to be incorporated. Presently, predominant credit has been given to people who are already taken credit from banks. So hence, SIDBI and Reserve Bank of India needs to have a look at it in order to allow. Coming back to the most important thing, while the above are true, but ultimately it is about how much money I make and whether it makes economic sense for all the parties. Now, you would be surprised to know that for the financial inclusion transactions, tax deducted at source, TDS, is being deducted from the business correspondent. So there is a disincentive for the BC to encourage and to attract more transactions. So while on the contrary, there is a there's a circular by the CBDT that needs to be implemented in letter and spirit, and the TDS needs to be removed on the business correspondent. Coming the second tax, which is the GST. Now, earlier in the pre-digital or let's say semi-digital age, there was said that okay, in GST would not be applicable in rural area. It will be applicable. It's very hard to segregate. A migrant who's coming from, let's say, a village in one of the states, and is working in, let's say, Mumbai or Delhi. He's still a migrant, and he is financially excluded. So his transaction, whether it is being originated in Mumbai, Delhi, or any other big city, or it is in the rural landscape, should be not subject to GST. So this needs to be taken care by the Ministry of Finance. And as I was talking earlier, that the financial, something financial literacy with the customers need to be front-ended. We have to follow the example of consumer products or other similar services which have very quickly spread, where the shopkeeper or the retailer ultimately demonstrate. There are we all have seen that there are promoters standing in the and obviously the financial services are slightly different, but at least. So, and to do that, in the village needs to be financially supported. Of course, there are we can again leverage technology by videos and other things which can be streamed. But of course, there is a physical entity which is required. In the end, I see as standing in the shoes of the customer, the key future digital bank would have the following 5 features. They will follow a target-based approach, targeting to get everything done in a jiffy by leveraging the digital infrastructure. Number 2, give universal access to financial services rather than deny. So whether it's credit, insurance, pensions, and anything, including MSMEs, the full suite should be available. Leverage the eKYC, UPI, APS, and other digital infrastructures, all built into one. Fourth, it focuses on the last mile delivery. It is extremely critical. No matter what, digital is the infrastructure, but ultimately it has to be last mile delivery by BC and financial literacy. And last but not the least, offers prompt customer protection and grievance redressal by the use of innovation and technology for the above. With this, I again remind what Kennedy said, that by definition include us all. They are the largest economic group in the economy and affected by every public and private economic decision. It is up to the regulators and also the entrepreneurs to take the above into consideration and design the products as well as the regulatory policies can reach the last person, 130 crore nation, go to the next higher level of growth. Thank you very much.